Man, water, symbiotic, entwined in each other. Since time immemorial, water defines us, determining our very existence. Cities and civilizations flourishing, feasting and thriving off the great rivers. Yet we forget, water that can create can also destroy. Overexploitation will beget destruction, devastation, drought, hunger and famine. A planet in peril, a land where we will seek and fight for that one last drop.
There is severe drought in places like Maharashtra. Once in 2 weeks.
The drought that caused rural districts for water. The water was also played out in the Supreme Court.
Farmers are really waiting desperately for how they
Life of people in more than 300
paddy crop
villages
is
here
turning yellow.
being affected by fluoride contamination in groundwater.
One study says India could run out of water by 2025. Another says that 40% of the population may not have drinking water by 2030.
At the heart of India's Thar Desert lies an ancient symbol embodying the importance of water. The parallel lines represent stepwells or reservoirs. Surrounding them are the trees and the flowers. The curves represent waves and ripples. And at the center of it all is water. The creator of all life, giving birth to man and civilization. This is Rajasthan, home to people who remember where the wells live. The instinct of the desert dweller guides him to the hidden reservoirs of water, deep down under the sands of Rajasthan. For a pastoral nomad, water is not found at the turn of a tap. He spends hours under the scorching sun, toiling to draw water, not just for his family, but also his herd.
हमारे यहाँ राजस्थान में हज़ारों सालों से पानी की शॉर्टेज आ रही है। हज़ारों किलोमीटर से हम दूरी से आ करके पानी ले जाना पड़ता है। 30-30, 35-35 किलोमीटर घर पानी ले जाना पड़ता है, पैदल ऊँट पे ले जाना पड़ता है। हमारे लिए पानी जीवन है, तो पानी बूंद बूंद करके पानी को हम कठिनता से बचाव करते हैं।
हमारे भारत के पानी के परंपरागत प्रबंधन की सबसे बड़ी विशेषता ये थी कि हमारे पानी में 5 R थे। रेस्पेक्ट ऑफ वाटर, रिड्यूस यूज ऑफ वाटर, रीयूज ऑफ वाटर, रिसाइकिल ऑफ वाटर और रेस्टोरेशन ऑफ वाटर। अंग्रेजी हुकूमत से पहले राजा पीने के पानी के काम के लिए जमीन देता था, प्रजा पानी का काम का इंतजाम करने के लिए पसीना लगाती थी और महाजन पानी के काम के लिए जो भी भौतिक जरूरतें हैं उस मटेरियल को उपलब्ध कराता था। इसको अंग्रेजी में कहते हैं कम्युनिटी ड्रिवन डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड वाटर मैनेजमेंट।
In a country that once had an intricate system of rainwater harvesting, Stepwells and ponds lie abandoned at best and act as dumpsters at worst. More and more people today are flocking to urban settlements, demanding land, demanding water. Unplanned development has resulted in supply falling short of demand, with many areas perpetually left thirsting for water.
I think India is in a very deep water crisis, and the crisis is related to the fact that we've always assumed water is limitless, and every step of development has been a step of the disruption of the hydrological cycle. Cities have been hijacked by building lobbies. Look at the amount of land that has been grabbed in Gurgaon. Look at the amount of land that has been grabbed in Noida.
Water use has been growing at twice the rate of population growth in the last century. India tops the global list of countries where the highest number of people live without access to safe water. This is true even in metropolitan cities, including the national capital.
Where we are seeing land, we do not see land for water. We see land for buildings. So everybody wants to encroach on the tank bed. You want to encroach on the river bed to build everything. You want to make sure that there is no sponges left in the city.
In Gurugram, part of the national capital region of India, it is not just the less fortunate who don't have access to water. Today, even money in the bank does not guarantee water in your taps.
जैसे जैसे समर आती हैं, एज ए रेजिडेंट हमें डर लगने स्टार्ट हो जाता है कि कैसे हम क्राइसिस को मीट आउट करेंगे।
हमारे यहाँ ब्लॉक के अंदर पहले ही पानी को लेके लड़ाइयाँ छिड़ जाती हैं जब वाटर क्राइसिस आता है।
हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट है 350 MGD के आसपास, लेकिन हमें मिलता सिर्फ 110 MGD के आसपास। तो आप डेफिसिट देख लीजिए कितना 60-70% डेफिसिट है।
जहाँ पर 10 लाख की पॉपुलेशन होनी चाहिए वहाँ पर 25 लाख की पॉपुलेशन है, तो अपने आप ही पानी की कमी होगी।
300 मल्टी स्टोरीज हैं न्यू गुड़गांव के अंदर, उनमें से 40% मल्टी स्टोरीज जो हैं आज भी टोटली ट्यूबवेल्स के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट्स हैं। उन 40% में कनेक्शन तक नहीं है कैनाल वाटर का।
सब हाउसवाइफ्स को एजुकेट करना चाहिए कि जो आरओ वाटर हमारे पास है वो वेस्ट नहीं होना चाहिए। आरओ वाटर इज क्लीन वाटर। इट्स लाइक वी शुड हैव वाटर पुलिसिंग।
इंडिविजुअल टैंकर्स में भी क्या होता है, उस समय उन लोगों को हैरेस किया जाता है। जहां नॉर्मली 400 से 500 रुपीज़ का रेट है एक टैंकर का, वो उस समय आपको जो है 2500 रुपये तक पहुंच जाता है सिर्फ 5000 लीटर का जो टैंकर है।
वाटर कैन बिकम ए वाटरलू फॉर गुड़गांव because water levels are going down, because systems are not working, because unorganized extensive construction is taking place and water is not there.
There are parts of Delhi, the Luton's Delhi part, the New Delhi part where the rich and powerful live. It gets 500 liters per capita per day. And yet there are parts of Delhi which get less than 30 liters per capita per day. That gross inequity happens also because of the technologies that we are following, in which we bring water longer and longer distance. Our electricity costs are increasing, our losses are increasing, and we have less water to supply. We have more people to supply it to, and we are not able to reach everybody.
In the heart of India's capital, New Delhi, lies Sangam Vihar, Asia's biggest unauthorized colony. Here, the struggle for water dictates everyday life. With no water pipelines in place, residents are dependent on water tankers to meet their needs.
अगर एक टैंकर आता भी है तो पूरा इतना पब्लिक है तो एक टैंकर में कुछ होता नहीं है। 100-100 लीटर भी नहीं किसी को पड़ता है। एक ड्राम के 10-10 रुपया लेता है, तब पानी मिलती है, नहीं तो वो भी नहीं पानी मिलती है यहाँ।
Today is an important day for the residents of lane number 11. Word has it that the tanker is likely to arrive. All daily activities seem to have come to a standstill.
घर में काम कर रहा है तो वो तो भागना पड़ता है छोड़ के। खाना बना रहे हैं तब भी भागना पड़ेगा, कभी टैंकर आ गया।
और खाना खा रहा है तभी भागना पड़ेगा कि भाई टैंकर आ गया। बच्चे को छुट्टी भी करा लेते हैं कि पानी आ रहा है तो पानी भरेंगे, यहीं पर रहना है।
They know that this wait could take hours, as the tanker's journey is not going to be an easy one. Winding through narrow lanes, the path is full of obstacles, and the destination far.
Where do tankers get water from? Tankers also get water from groundwater wells. They're not getting it somewhere else. And it's a myth that people are not paying for water. People are actually paying a lot for water, because if you're buying water from a tanker, it's many times more than you pay the municipality.
The tension is palpable. This is going to be their only supply of water for the entire week. In the fight for water, there are no friends or neighbors. It is each man for himself, each woman for her household. Sora, land of the clouds, once known as Cherrapunji, the wettest place on earth. For JD, his day is navigated by water. Every day he must fetch water before starting any other activity. If he doesn't, his household will not be able to function.
Por mensua por mentagaya festival. Nampak por mensua angin juga selai ke mengidang pendon kam kata ke ke ba. Duit baik bat mir bat seni. Teh kan no por ni lawan yo. Nai nakajingya buon gibrio. Nakajingya roy naka pos ke por kata ke ke bangi pendon kam bandi ban bam kam long cu ba. Kani ke ke ba pia. Pio imta ke ba ya kanala. Kani ke di bam di mensua. Mentang ngembam di siu, maka lajak liak liak sait liak clean, nasi teh nasi neng tatar. Mentang ya bam jadi dari kiba, wan kipat kiba air sofa.
For a town which once held the record for receiving the world's highest rainfall, today Sora is devoid of adequate drinking water. The hills have been stripped of their forest cover, leaving the landscape naked and barren. To make matters worse, relentless mining has destroyed the landscape. This in turn has made the clouds unpredictable and rainfall uncertain. The geography of the area is such that any water that falls in the form of rain washes away and collects downhill in Bangladesh. The water simply does not stay in Sora. But all is not lost. Barely 500 kilometers away in Aizawl, another hill city, local communities have woken up to the crisis and have decided to find a simple solution, which is rooted in their traditional water wisdom. Houses in the city today are marked by their slanting rooftops. These rooftops help residents gather and harvest rainwater in tanks.
I know the scarcity and the problem of the water, so I made the gutter all round the whole building. And then I made 3-4 water tank. So it's almost sufficient for my entire need of water for the whole year.
The people of Aizawl have learned to effectively counter water scarcity. An example which can be emulated by the rest of the country. Barely 2 hours from maximum city Mumbai lies Denganmal, a small village in the rural hinterland of India. There are no taps here. The only well in the village has run dry. Water. Finding it, collecting it, storing it. That's all that occupies 68-year-old Sukaram's mind. But the real burden of this water scarcity falls on the women of the household. The only source of drinking water are 2 wells at the foot of a rocky hill. A spot so far that bringing water home can take hours. This has led Sukaram to marry not 1, but 3 women.
तर आता अजून याच्या पुढे पाण्याची टंचाई अशी होईल की 6 वाजता आमच्या बाया माणसं पाण्याला जातील, तर सकाळी 6 वाजता जातील, संध्याकाळी 6 वाजता येतील. याच्या पुढे जसं जसं गरमी जास्त होत जाईल उन्हाची, तेव्हा मग अख्खा रात्रच पाण्यासाठी झोप लागली ना लागली पण नंबरसाठी जावं लागतं.
Every day, 2 of his wives walk miles, often 4 to 5 times in a day. Downhill and uphill, only to fetch water. The 3rd wife stays at home, taking care of the housework. On average, rural women in India carry 30 to 40 litres of water on their heads for 6 to 9 hours daily. Their bodies buckling under the weight of the water year after year.
मोठ्या आहे ना, तिचे पण या पायाच्या शिरा, हाताच्या शिरा एकदम अशा आकळून जाते. तिचे पण दवाखान्यात नेल्या, तरी दक्षिणा दिली तर तरच बरी होते. आणि आता तिला ऊन काही सोसत नाही.
For Sukaram and his wives, the quest for every drop of water robs them of their spirit to live, as the future continues to look bleak and dry.
The social implications of the water scarcity is that women who are the primary providers of water end up having a higher burden. Women are now committing more than 10 billion man days to just carrying water.
Punjab, the land of 5 rivers, the poster boy of India's green revolution. At one point, Punjab was considered India's breadbasket, ensuring the country's agricultural yields grew. And India became a food surplus nation. But today, it is the water in this land of 5 rivers which carries misfortune in every drop.
ਕਰਜ਼ੇ ਦੇ ਤੰਗ ਆ ਕੇ ਜੀ ਟੈਨਸ਼ਨ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਸੀ ਜੀ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਪਰੇਅ ਪੀ ਲਈ ਸੀ ਖੇਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਲਾ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਜੀ ਸਵੇਰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਜੀ
The dropping groundwater levels led Ranjit's husband to keep installing bore wells, falling further into debt.
ਬੋਰ ਲਗਾਇਆ ਸੀ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਾਣੀ ਦਾ 2 ਵਾਰੀ ਪਰ 3 ਵਾਰੀ ਵੀ ਕਰਤਾ ਸੀ ਜੀ ਬੋਰ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਨ ਵੀ ਲਿਆ ਸੀ ਜੀ ਬੈਂਕ ਤੋਂ ਜੀ
For Ranjit Kaur and her sons, the future looks grim. The bore wells fail to strike water, and the burden of her husband's loan continues to haunt them.
The problems of groundwater mining began with Green Revolution style agriculture. While I was growing up, you could go to Rajasthan, you could go to UP, you could go to Punjab, and we had those Persian wheels that worked to the depth of 10 feet, 20 feet. That's the level at which water was everywhere.
India is the largest user of groundwater in the world, with more than 60% of irrigated agriculture being dependent on groundwater.
ਅੱਜ ਤੋਂ 30-35 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜੀ 100 ਫੁੱਟ ਤੇ ਬੋਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜੀ 20 ਫੁੱਟ ਤੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਸੀ ਹੁਣ ਜੀ 130 ਫੁੱਟ ਤੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਆ 400 ਫੁੱਟ ਬੋਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੇ ਮੋਟਰ ਪਾਉਣੀ ਆ ਜੀ 1.5 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਏ ਦਾ ਮੋਟਰ ਆ ਜੀ ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਏ ਬੋਰ ਤੇ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜੀ ਕੰਪਰੈਸਰ ਪਾਣੀ ਚਕਾਈ ਵਾਲੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਜੀ 3 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਏ ਕਨੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਜੀ 6 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਏ ਟੋਟਲ ਲਗਭਗ ਲੱਗੇ
पंजाब इज अ डाइंग सिविलाइजेशन ये स्थिति बन गई है और पानी उसका एक महत्वपूर्ण क्राइसिस है हम यहाँ पैडी को लेके आए ये पैडी के लिए तो था ही नहीं मालवा एरिया जहाँ आप बैठे हैं मालवा तो कपास का क्षेत्र था मूंगफली का क्षेत्र था दालों का क्षेत्र था और ये चीज़ें थी आपने तमाम चीज़ें ख़त्म कर दी हरित क्रांति ने पंजाब को बेआब बनाया है और बेआब पंजाब बेआबाद होगा स्थितियां ये बताती हैं
In terms of extraction, India uses an estimated 251 cubic kilometers of groundwater per year, which is more than the amount used by the US and China put together. As farmers continue to dig deep to find water, there are more deadly dangers lurking underground. For the people of Nalgonda in Telangana, fluoride poisoning is a reality. And they are not alone. This disease has affected millions across India. The root cause: high dependence on groundwater. As farmers dig deeper for water, there is a higher chance of substances such as fluoride and arsenic being present in the groundwater. Fluorosis can lead to severe skeletal problems, stunted growth, and even mental disability. One of the worst hit by India's water crisis has been Maharashtra, ironically, India's richest state. Velu, in Maharashtra's Pune district. Within a few months of the monsoon, the wells and ponds in this village would run dry, leaving the land parched. But last year was different. Pani Foundation, an NGO, sparked off an unprecedented people's movement, inspiring farmers across Maharashtra to take matters into their own hands and solve their water woes. Over 1,000 people across multiple villages came together in this battle against drought. Men, women, children, even the aged put in hours of voluntary labor for days at a stretch.
पाणी नसल्यानंतर मग कुठले दुसऱ्या गावातनं टँकर पाणी आडात आणून टाकायची तिथनं मग आम्ही पाणी आणून पाणी प्यायचो 6-6 महिने आम्हाला पाण्याचा खूप मोठा दुष्काळ पडायचा असं होत होत आम्ही भरपूर काम केलं 45 दिवस आम्ही महिला पुरुष सगळी गावातली जाऊन काम करत होतो.
Over 45 days, thousands of watershed structures were built. In the following monsoon, rainwater filled the ponds and watersheds, transforming the landscape. As a result, agricultural fields flourished.
ये मिट्टी हमारी है, ये पानी हमारा है, ये वृक्ष हमारे हैं, ये पशु पक्षी हमारे हैं, वहाँ जंगल में रहने वाले भी जानवर हमारे हैं और हम उनके हैं. जब ये रिश्ता बन जाएगा कुदरत का और हमारा, तो फिर सुजलाम सुफलाम, मतलब वो भी सुखी रहेंगे और हम भी सुखी रहेंगे.
If a community decides to take charge and preserve its own water resources, citizens will no longer have to fight for the most basic of needs, the need for water.
मुसाफिर कृपा करके ध्यान दें गड्डी नंबर 5475X रिवाड़ी श्री गंगानगर वाया मलौट.
It's 9 p.m. at Punjab's Bathinda station. A 12-coach train enters and stops at platform number 4. For a majority of this train's passengers, the journey is not a happy one. "60% of them are cancer patients from all across Punjab, who travel 325 kilometers to Bikaner in Rajasthan for treatment. This train is infamously known as the cancer train.
More than 90% of the poisons that are sprayed, more than 90% of the nitrogen fertilizer applied goes into the water. This now becomes a lethal toxic mixture that every person in Punjab is drinking on a daily basis. Cancer is an epidemic triggered by toxics.
उनके गले में कैंसर है. पहले थोड़ी सी पेंसी थी यहाँ पे. पहले डॉक्टर ने गौर नहीं की कि नॉर्मल है, तो जो हटी नहीं उनको खाने प्रॉब्लम बोलने प्रॉब्लम आने लगी उनको. तो जहाँ जल्दी चेक करवाया तो उन्होंने कहा भी ये कैंसर है in the second stage.
Pardeep and his family have a long and cold night ahead of them before the train pulls into Bikaner station. For him, this is just one of the many such uncertain journeys that he will make for his father's cancer treatment.
पंजाब में जो नहरें जो यूज़ हो रही हैं, एक तो नहरों में जो कंटेमिनेशन हो रहा है वो तो डायरेक्ट पेस्टिसाइड के कारण हो रहा है, ठीक है. और दूसरा ग्राउंड वाटर जब नीचे जाता है तो उसमें हैवी मेटल्स और कुछ अदर जो कंटेमिनेशंस होते हैं वो भी ज़्यादा इसमें आने लग जाते हैं. उसके कारण भी कैंसर एज वेल एज अदर डिजीजेज भी होती हैं.
After having spent 4 hours at the hospital, Pardeep's father will now have to wait until the next day for his next chemotherapy session.
Contamination has become ubiquitous. The sources are many. Industrial runoffs, uncontrolled industrial runoffs, uncontrolled, untreated sewage runoffs, pesticides laced with chemicals which are pouring into the river.
विकास 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 किस तरह का विकास? आप तो विकास को विनाश की तरफ ले जा रहे हैं। विनाश, ये विकास नहीं है। विकास तो तब होगा कि आप कारखाना भी चलाइए लेकिन नदी भी साफ रहे। विकास तब होगा जो भूमि है वो प्रदूषित ना हो। आप विकास तब करेंगे कि अब वो वहाँ के जो लोग हैं वो उनकी सेहत जो है, उनका जो हेल्थ जो है वो ठीक रहे। सुबह जब वो उनके दूध में जो है DDT मिली हुई होगी या इस तरह से घातक चीज़ें होंगी तो आप क्या करेंगे? क्या उसको आप विकास बोलेंगे?
The findings were heartbreaking. Factories discharge effluent with a high oxygen demand into the Ganga.
One would think that urban families, far from these polluted rivers, will be safe from the poison in this water.
The POD levels were already high at 3.7. That's almost twice the global permissible limit set at.
But that is far from the truth. Plaksha Agarwal, a young homemaker, tries her best to ensure that her children get nutritious food and safe drinking water. But for the past year, she has been struggling with the health of her family.
I have 2 daughters, and my elder one, who's 6.5, is all the time getting some stomach problem. It's been going on for almost a year now. So I don't know if it's the water, if it's the food, if it's the vegetables, if it's the lack of fruit that I'm giving. I don't know.
Keep your meek little sheep.
Plaksha has decided to find out the possible cause of her child's chronic health issues.
I see my children falling sick so often that I wonder that, maybe staying in a smaller town might be a better solution to a better life.
Experts from Development Alternatives, a Delhi-based NGO which studies environmental pollution, have offered to help her. They accompany Plaksha to the banks of the river Yamuna, where vegetables are grown right next to the river and supplied across the city.
The fact is, which river is not contaminated today is getting contaminated by tomorrow. Today, Yamuna, for instance, is dead. We just have not cremated it. But the dissolved oxygen level of Yamuna is 0, which means that it is dead.
Most Delhi residents don't drink water from the Yamuna, but that doesn't ensure that they're safe from the pollutants.
मूली तो आप खाते ही होंगे रोज अपने सलाद में, कच्चा काट कर ऐसे ही खा लिया, बट आपको पता है कितना डेंजरस है हमारे हेल्थ के लिए? द वाटर इन द रिवर इज कंटामिनेटेड. द रिवर वाटर विच वी थिंक इज गुड, but it is full of heavy metals, arsenic water, and all kinds of toxics are present in that water. The soil is absorbing all kinds of contamination, and it is transferring all the toxic things to the vegetables which are being grown next to this.
So what water is being used to irrigate these vegetables?
They think and they say that this is not the Yamuna river, this is the boring water which they are taking out.
Right.
But I will show you how contaminated that water is also.
S.N. Prasad from the Development Alternatives Laboratory collects water from a bore well to test the iron content.
देखेंगे कि ये आयरन का कलर जो है बहुत ज़्यादा है, इसका 3 मिलीग्राम पर लीटर। दैट मीन्स कि ये मोर देन परमिसिबल लिमिट्स है।
So how is this excess iron that we find in this water and therefore the vegetables that we eat, how is this harmful for us, for the children?
It directly affects our digestive system. The intestine is being affected first, then the kidney, and the initial symptoms of nausea, stomach upset, all these things comes.
That's really scary. I mean, we have no idea what we're feeding ourselves, what we're feeding our children. And there's nothing we can do about it. Wow.
Toxics like heavy metals, which are impossible to remove, so no matter of washing or cooking will remove them because they're in the body of the vegetables. So we have a contaminated urban food supply which essentially lands up and we end up eating them and cause all kinds of disease. One should recognize that if you dirty the water, it's not going to go away, it's going to come back on your plate.
The Ganga, the holiest of rivers, cutting through India, being prayed to, bathed in, defecated around, and used as a sewage canal.
गंगा जी का जो महत्व है, ये हम लोगों के लिए तो भाई भुक्ति और मुक्ति दोनों की दात्री हैं। गंगा जी आपको जो वर्ल्डली जो हैप्पीनेस है, वो भी गंगा जी आपको देती हैं और आपका अल्टीमेटली जब डेथ होगा तो आपको मोक्ष प्रदान करेंगी।
Many believe that one of the key pollutants of India's holiest river is religious waste. Unburnt human and animal bodies and other decaying organic matter. But experts suggest otherwise.
आज के तारीख में भी करीब 33 ऐसे पॉइंट्स हैं जो पॉइंट सोर्सेज ऑफ पॉल्यूशन हैं। वहाँ से करीब 300-350 mld सीवेज अभी भी डंप हो रहा है। वो करीब 33 पॉइंट्स हैं।
80% of river water contamination is actually due to untreated domestic waste. Every day, 2.9 billion litres of industrial and domestic sewage is dumped directly into the Ganga. As the city continues to crumble under the weight of its growing population, sewage treatment plants remain either defunct or completely inadequate.
The flush toilet is connected to the river. So it is very clear that unless cities can manage their sewage, our rivers will not have enough water to be able to flow, to be able to breathe, to be able to assimilate our waste.
Mumbai, the city that never pauses to breathe. Every year, people continue to pour in, pushing its limits, jostling for space, land, and water. Yet at the heart of Mumbai lies a chronic disaster, spreading slowly into the city and the life of its people.
So Mumbai actually has a river which passes through the heart of the city, and it's called the Mithi River. But a lot of people living in Mumbai, they don't know about its existence.
Rohit Sharma. 4 years ago, he gave up his career in management and decided to become an environmental photojournalist. For his latest photo essay, Rohit is tracing the tragic story of Mumbai's lost river, the Mithi. He had expected to find a narrow stream, the remnants of the Mithi. But what he found instead was far more shocking.
So the areas where people are residing next to the river, they are dumping their household waste into it. And there's a lot of plastic and steel waste also going into the river.
कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है, कचरे वाले आते नहीं है, तो इसकी वजह से सब लोग इधर फेंकते हैं, हम लोग भी इधर फेंकते हैं। अभी कहीं फेंकने की जगह नहीं है, तो कहाँ जाएंगे हम लोग फेंकने के लिए?
The Mitti River was not just Mumbai's only mainland river, but also the city's most important drainage channel. But what happens when 93% of this river is in fact clogged with domestic sewage, and there is no place for the water to go?
And there's rainfall in Mumbai.
26th of July 2005, Mumbai came to a standstill. Large parts of the city were totally submerged underwater.
Water entered the low-lying areas next to the river, and not only water but garbage along with the water was also on the streets of Mumbai.
All because the Mitti was too choked with sewage and plastic to drain the stormwater. A city failed its water bodies yet again. The Mitti, once a free-flowing river, is now only a memory. The water cycle today is disrupted at every level. Rainfall is scanty. Demand far exceeds water supply. Groundwater tables are being sucked dry. And clean drinking water is a rare commodity. Rivers continue to be abused, threatening not just human lives, but our entire natural ecosystem.
I say every ecology movement of India is a water movement, if you really come to think of it. Even the climate movement has to be a water movement, because what does climate change mean? Too little rain means drought, too much rain means a flood, a cyclone means salt water. All of this is a water issue.
Far away from the chaos of cities, another battle was fought. The small town of Kosani, nestled in the Kumaon hill range of Uttarakhand, witnessed a unique people's movement. Led single-handedly by a woman, Basanti Behen.
जल जंगल जमीन, जंगल नहीं बचेगा तो पानी नहीं निकलेगा, पानी नहीं आएगा तो धरती नहीं बचेगी, तो धरती में अनाज उत्पन्न नहीं होगा तो हम कैसे जिंदा रहेंगे?
In 2003, the region around the river Kosi received its lowest rainfall. Rampant deforestation and forest fires had reduced the green cover. With an increasing number of urban housing and commercial structures replacing what used to be a pristine landscape. Farmers were stopped by authorities from using water for irrigation. 13 districts faced drought. This is when Basanti Behen went from village to village and stopped the cutting of trees.
फिर उनको मैंने बताया कि जो ये चौड़ी पत्ती बांज, बुरांस, ओतीस, देवदार जो जंगल में रहेंगे तो पानी बरसात जिस दिन होगी तो वो धीरे धीरे पानी ज़मीन पर जाएगा। तब हमारे जो स्रोत हैं, नौले हैं, धारे हैं, गधेरे हैं, जो नदी है, तो इसमें पानी आएगा तो ये टिका रहेगा, तो तब हमारे खेती भी होगी और हम भी सुरक्षित रहेंगे।
At Korsani's Lakshmi Ashram, where Basanti Behen was raised, young girls are taught the importance of their natural environment and how our entire ecosystem needs to be protected and balanced. As most around the world forget this reality, these girls carry this wisdom forward.
जब धरती को बुखार चढ़ा हो तो उसकी दवाई हरियाली है, उसकी दवाई मिट्टी का कटाव रोकना, पानी का बहाव रोकना और पानी को नीचे डालना। उससे उसका टेम्परेचर कम होगा और उसका बुखार उतर जाएगा और फिर ये जो बेमौसम बारिश है, ये जो ड्राउट और फ्लड का डिजास्टर है, वो ठीक हो जाएगा।
Today we are sitting at a point of human history where we could be working towards our own extinction. And we are doing that only because instead of working with the ways of nature, learning from the ways of nature, mimicking the ways of nature, and making the ways of nature our own, we have tried to actually make nature work our way. And that's the foolishness of man.
To live life to its full extent and to recognize that all living beings, from the soil organisms to the trees to the birds, all of them have a right to water. It's a right to being alive.